So let's start by sitting upright. The head is gently suspended from above. Body is relaxed at ease. Taking a few deep, long, comfortable breaths. Breathing from your belly. Breathing with your entire body. You think of your body as being a balloon. As you breathe in, every part of your body expands a little bit. As you breathe out, you simply rest in that feeling. Allowing everything to slow down, settle down gradually. You can gently smile a bit with your lips, your eyes, perceiving yourself with kindness, with compassion, the sense of friendliness, warmth, and understanding. Allow whatever you experience to be just as it is. Nothing to change, nothing to fix, nothing to manage or control. Just relaxing with the way it is. Now come into the first stage of the practice, settling the body. Breathing in, feeling your legs. And breathing out, softening, releasing the legs. Gradually allow your legs to release all the stored up tension that may be present in your tissues. Breathing into your legs, finding some space, finding some openness there. As you breathe out, you let your legs relax into that space, into that openness. Feel as your muscles are melting, the tension evaporates. Slowly, slowly. Just a tiny bit better with each out breath. And breathing in, feeling your belly. Breathing out, softening, releasing through the belly. Feel as all those little knots, those little constrictions are gradually disentangling, softening. You want to follow this good feeling when you let go, when you relax. It feels a little bit better, a little bit more open. That's what you want to find. That's what you want to follow. In this stage, you really learn how to make yourself comfortable, how to give yourself some break, how to find some rest, some joy, some ease inside of your body. Lots of trial and error going on. Got to find out how to breathe, or what kind of breath feels best. Got to find out how to release tension in the area. How to stop pushing or forcing. How to treat yourself more kindly. How to encourage yourself. And the end result of all that is that your belly becomes more and more comfortable. And breathing in, feeling your heart, your chest. Breathing out, softening, releasing the heart and the chest. Finding some space, some softness. Breathing in, feeling your shoulders, your arms. Breathing out, let them become soft, relaxed, a little bit more comfortable each time you breathe out. Breathing in, feeling your head, your brain. And breathing out, let your head, your brain become nice and soft. Really releasing all the tension, all the mental squeezing that exists around the head. The wishing to be in control. The trying to concentrate, all of that is tense. So each time you breathe out, feel a little bit of letting go, a little bit of softening, opening. And you'll find that that's actually quite nice. Breath by breath, you feel a bit more tension dissolve, evaporate, melt away. And each time that happens, It's very enjoyable. This is a joy that is worthwhile following. It's not a joy that is based on distraction. It's not a joy that is based on overcoming after fighting with something. It's a joy that is born of release, letting go. Because you're actually dealing with the problem rather than avoiding it or fighting with it. Finding comfort within your discomfort. And breathing in, feeling the entire body. Breathing out, releasing through the whole body. Finding more and more space, openness. And enjoying the act of relaxing into that space. A little trick that gives a lot of people access to what I'm talking about is to feel some space around your body. Bring your consciousness into the space surrounding your body. And as your mind expands, the body begins to relax by itself. We come into the second stage, resting in presence. Just being aware of what is happening right now. There's experiences of feelings, sensations in the body. Experiencing sound. Perhaps the arising and passing of words and images, thoughts. And what we do is simply just noticing that. We're not arranging anything, not controlling or managing the experience. Simply just knowing what is happening while it is happening. See if you can know without reacting. Just be here as an observer, a witness to your experience. And only if you find yourself getting lost in daydreams, thinking about the future or the past, or about anything that isn't here now, acknowledge that and then simply return back to that moment. Becoming aware of sound again. Waking up to the flow of sensations in your body. All the various trains of thoughts that pass through your station. Of course, without boarding them. You will find feelings are coming, changing, and going. Sounds are arising, vibrating, passing away. Just like thoughts. So there's really no need in getting entangled with any of it. It is also far more pleasant if you're not entangled. Where is your attention right now? Is it with a feeling? With a thought? Or with a sound? And where is it right now? As you're gently resting in this state of presence, you can slowly come back and open your eyes. Gently stretch a little bit. Bringing all your awareness into that stretch, really feeling what goes on in your body while you're stretching. Notice how you're breathing into the stretch. Or whether that's comfortable or not. And for the remaining time, let's try to stay aware of where your attention is right now. As I talk, it may be on the sound of my voice. And as I stop talking, it may go somewhere else. Maybe to a sensation, a feeling, maybe to another sound, maybe to something you see, or perhaps a thought. See if you can keep track of the movement of your attention right now. Not only that, but notice how the mind accompanies where your attention goes in certain ways. For example, your attention may go to a certain sound and then it is accompanied by complaining about it. So you also know the accompanying atmosphere in your mind. Not only what you're paying attention to, but how you're paying attention to it. Maybe you feel some discomfort in your body. How do you react to that? Maybe you smell something, or see something, or hear something. Did you deem pleasant or unpleasant? What's your reaction to it? What do you do with your experience inside of yourself? So this is a very general, yet very profound way of bringing the practice into your daily life. Of training off the cushion informally. So you're walking through a 7-Eleven store and you're buying something, or you find yourself sitting on a beach, riding your scooter, having lunch, or whatever it is that you do. You can ask yourself, so where's my attention right now? And how is it there? Is that pleasant or is it unpleasant? Is the way I'm paying attention to things beneficial in the long run? Or is it perhaps even harmful in the long run? If I kept doing what I'm doing right now in this moment, who would I become? Who would I turn into? If I kept receiving painful situations in my life, which undoubtedly will come, the way I do right now, which is with complaining, with resistance, in a very unpleasant way, who would I become in the face of pain? Who will I become? In the face of pleasure, who will I become? Will I become this greedy, grasping, clingy personality that, rather than appreciating and liberating the pleasure that I feel right now, is chasing more, remaining restless, unsatisfied, discontented. So by simply observing yourself right here, right now, seeing what it is that you do, what you pay attention to and how you pay attention to it, is a kind of preview and lets you know what your future is going to look like. If you were to maintain your present direction, who would you become? There's a reason why the Buddha, for example, recommended his students to actually ask themselves this question, what am I doing right now? And by right now, he didn't refer to this kind of vague sense of, kind of like around this week, what am I doing this week? Or what am I doing today? It's very generalized, very vague. But he was referring to really just right now, this moment, this second. Where's your attention? What are you doing right now? Are you actually tensing up or are you releasing? And whether you're tensing up or releasing, your body gives you instant feedback. If you're releasing, it always, no exception, feels pleasant. It's always nice. It feels like life, like expansion. Beautiful, joyful, light. Anything you'd consider to be good, pleasant, happy. With the other direction, if you become tense in your body and mind, that doesn't feel nice. It feels constricted, unfree, heavy, burdensome, dark, gloomy, depressed, sad, angry, fiery. Like anything you deem unpleasant, really. So by asking myself, what am I doing right now? I step into a zone where I become acutely aware that I am responsible for my experience right now. And that there is absolutely no way that I could blame anyone but myself for the way I feel right now. I could blame anyone but myself for the way I feel only if I'm unaware of what I'm doing right now in this moment. What am I paying attention to and how? I give you a very basic example. You make a post on Facebook or Instagram and someone comments in a negative way underneath it. You read the comment and you feel terribly offended by it. And instinctively, you would blame the commenter for your feeling of offense, which is incredibly unpleasant. You'd say, well, this guy ruined my day, or this guy made me feel the way I do. But is that actually the truth? Is it the case that other people have full power over how you feel? Would you really want to admit to that? Would you really want to say that my feeling is entirely dependent on what happens around me? That's the very definition of slavery. It's the definition of not being free at all. Do you want to accept that for yourself and say, yeah, that's the truth? I feel the way I do because of the way the world around me is. Doesn't seem accurate to me at all. Doesn't seem correct. What is correct is that I feel the way I do upon reading this comment because of how I interpret it, how I talk to myself about it in my own head, the meaning I assign to that, which could be really any meaning. Like I could welcome that as, for example, a training of patience, perhaps a training of loving kindness, Perhaps an invitation for an interesting discussion so I can get to know myself on a deeper level. Those are all possibilities that also exist. Why am I not tapping into those? Why am I tapping into the possibility of, oh, this guy is an idiot, I hate this guy, he ruined my day? I agree, that's one possibility. But is it really the possibility that you would choose if you had a choice? So how come you don't have a choice in that moment and you tap automatically in what you're most accustomed to? Because you have no awareness of what you're doing and how you're doing it in that moment. So what is running the show? Obviously you're still reacting even though you don't know what you're doing, but you're still doing something. How come? What is running the show? Well, the thing that's running the show is your past conditioning. Everything you have done over and over in your life, the meanings you have assigned to things over and over again, they become your nervous system, they become your body, they become your chemicals, they become your whole personality, your subconscious mind, your body, everything. And that subconscious mind or your body are running what they are most accustomed to. It's just simply because you're familiar with that, your physical system is familiar with that pathway, that reaction to whatever you're presented with. So if you're seeing a negative comment, it immediately resonates with low self-esteem, let's say. And because it resonates with low self-esteem, all the nerves that have connected in that way, in that fashion, all the chemicals that have connected in that way, in that fashion, now start firing in exactly the way they did previously, enhancing that pattern inside of your body and mind. So not only are you repeating what you're familiar with, you're also enhancing it as you repeat it. You're training it, you're getting better at it. So if you're finding yourself complaining, for example, in that moment while you're complaining about the way things are, not only are you enhancing a past pattern of yours, you're also inviting the world around you to participate in your pattern. So it's very far-reaching. So that's not only the way we condition ourselves, but the way we condition one another. How people trigger each other's patterns. Makes us all very predictable, kind of like robots. You push a button and the reaction pops out. If I say the right thing, you're happy. If I say the wrong thing, you're unhappy. That makes you very predictable. And because we're so predictable, advertising works. And people spend a lot of money for it. Because we're predictable, if we were totally unpredictable, you couldn't advertise to people because you wouldn't know what to do, because we're constantly changing and constantly appreciating this reality in different ways. So how can you work with that? When you don't know what people are going to do when they see the color red or the color blue, and when they see that kind of word versus the other word, which one makes them more likely to click the button online that says buy now, or subscribe? What color of the button is best? Trust me, those large companies like YouTube and Instagram, so they put a lot of research into that. What color works best? They do A/B testing. They send 1 million people left to the blue button, another 1 million to the red button. Where do they get more clicks? And then they adapt. All right, the red button seems to be working better than the blue button. So what about this shade of red and that shade of red? 1 million there, 1 million there. It's useful information. But it also works because we're so predictable. And because we're so predictable, we're highly programmable too. So we are kind of walking programs. That's a nice way to understand the concept of karma, which means action. Let's say past karma is all your habits and your entire conditioning that makes you who you are right in this moment, right now. But we're not really enslaved to the way we have been conditioned. So there is a bit of freedom that we have, and that's one of the great discoveries of the Buddha. He discovered that you're not just subject to your past and the way you've been brought up and your childhood traumas and so forth and so on, but you do have some freedom. And that freedom is in the question, what am I doing right now? Who am I becoming? Is that what I really want? If I kept doing what I'm doing right in this moment, who would I turn into? Is that something I would desire? If not, then what would it be that I desire? Why would I train myself that way? Fantastic question to ask yourselves is, why are you here? I remember one time we did a retreat in Chiang Mai, and we had these afternoon walks around the area. There were like plenty of temples and like little Dharma centers and meditation centers and places of nuns and hermits and caves and all that kind of stuff. It's a pretty nice place actually. And one of those centers that we walked across was having this glass door in front, and there was this big sign on the glass door which just simply read in Thai, Ma Thamai, which means, why do you come? But in Thai the word Ma Thamai is a bit like harsh. It's almost like a bit of a rude question. What the hell are you doing here? What do you want? What do you want? Kind of like that. But it's a fantastic question. What are you doing here? Maybe you're sitting alone at home and you're propping up your meditation pillow and you sit down, you cross your legs, you close your eyes, and maybe you're chanting something. Maybe you ring some bells. And what the hell are you doing? Why? Why are you doing all these moves? What are you hoping for? What are you really doing? Ringing bells and chanting mantras and doing all those fancy mental gymnastics, but why? What's your hope there? Are you hoping for something? Is that supposed to do something? And if so, what? What am I doing here? I remember on that same retreat, like one evening I was sitting on my bed, I was preparing for the nightly practice, and I was chanting my prayers. So these are like Pali chants, right? As you hear here in the Thai Buddhist temples, quite similar. So I'm sitting there and chanting, and all of a sudden that question hit me, but really, really strongly. What on earth am I doing here? Sitting in some hut in the jungle. I'm sitting cross-legged on a bed. And I'm reciting in a language that's not my own. Some fancy stuff that I don't really fully understand even. And that kind of gave me a good feeling up to that point. But after I really asked myself, like, what am I actually doing here? I dropped into this hole. It was terrifying because I've started questioning everything I've been doing up to this point. Like going to temples, bowing down in front of statues, treating my teachers a certain way, learning Pali, learning Sanskrit, learning Tibetan language, learning this, that. What on earth am I doing? Why? Why am I doing all this? The answer is really uncomfortable. Because I really don't like myself at all, and I kind of hope that all this stuff will kind of give me some value at least, so that some people may look at me and go, yeah, you kind of pass. You're okay. Okay, you did like 7 years in a Tibetan monastery. Yeah, all right, you're okay. You pass. I'm not going to reject you and discard you and kick you out of this group. You get some attention, you get some love from that. And seeing this was just like, like you've wasted this huge amount of time doing all this kind of stuff. For what? One of the most important, basic, and advanced questions is exactly that. What am I doing right now? Why? If you cannot answer those two questions, you will lack responsibility. That's one thing. You will have no responsibility in that moment. Even if you think you do, you just think it. There's a difference between thinking something about yourself and actually being it. It's a huge difference. So one, you have no responsibility in that moment. How could you? You don't even know what you're doing. You're unaware of what you're doing. Two, you have no way of actually getting to where you want to be. And that begs the question, where do you want to be? What do you want to experience? Really? Forget all the texts, forget all the stuff that you've heard previously. What do you really want? Why are you sitting here? What are you hoping for? And try to really answer this question for yourself. It's the most important question. Two of the most important questions. What am I doing here and why? Too many people in this world, they do things because other people are doing them. Is that a good reason to do something? Maybe. Maybe not. You decide. Anyways, that's all that comes to mind for tomorrow, for this morning. Is there any questions?